Welcome to the Summon Your Superhuman podcast, where we explore meaningful topics to help you live your best life and enhance your personal and professional relationships. I'm your host, Ria Mestiza, and today we're diving into a subject that is often seen as taboo, but it's incredibly important, and that's knowing when to quit for your own good. So quitting. It's a word that can evoke feelings of failure and shame. But what if I told you that sometimes it's the smartest thing that you can do? Quitting isn't always a sign of weakness. On the contrary, it can be a strategic decision that helps set you up for greater success and personal well-being. I know that I've personally struggled with making a concise decision to quit in a timely manner. I feel like I've dragged out situations way longer than I should have. And in hindsight, I don't blame myself for that. There is no shame in it because it only helps you sharpen your sword for making more quicker decisions down the track. Sometimes I know myself personally, I've felt that I really need to ensure that I was giving something my all first, and I'd really given it my all before I decide I'm done. And when I'm done, I'm really done. And I think that deep down, when you feel like you're on the verge, which maybe you are, if you're listening to this, you're thinking about something that you're unsure about whether you should leave the situation. And I want to encourage just some thought into helping you make a decision that's right for you. So let's look a little bit more into the meaning of quitting. Because quitting, the word itself, can hold different connotations depending on the context. But generally, it means to stop, cease, or discontinue an activity or effort. And I'm going to look at a more nuanced look at the concept of quitting because I like to nerd out over these definitions. If you've listened to any previous podcasts, the verb of quitting is the action of voluntarily leaving or abandoning a job, task, goal, or situation. Then there are the contextual meanings. In a professional context, it involves voluntarily leaving a job, position, or career path. For example, resigning from a job that no longer aligns with your career goals or values. Personal ambitions. This refers to abandoning personal goals or projects that may no longer serve your interests or well-being, such as stopping a hobby or a fitness regime that just no longer brings you joy or benefit. So you might be thinking, but wait, last week you shared an episode about persistence. Exactly. We need to carefully choose where we put our energy. What we focus on grows, and if it's towards our positive outcomes, then wonderful. But if we find ourselves stuck, we could be digging a deeper hole that is much harder for us to climb out of. There's a time to be persistent when there's a real evident flame and passion within us that is just, it just knows that it's the right path, like for us, but it's just not working yet. We haven't found our stride. And when you know it still aligns with your values and where you want to go, then you should absolutely persist. But then today we want to explore those avenues that perhaps are coming to an end, but we just don't see the end yet, and how to perhaps make a more timely decision in navigating out of stuck places. Because quitting, when done thoughtfully and strategically, is not about failure, but it's about making choices that lead to more productive, healthy, and fulfilling lives. It's just recognizing the right time to quit. It's just as important as knowing when to persevere. So it's almost like a T-junction. Left or right, which way am I going? Persevering or quitting? You know, you're really at that junction point. In my own personal example, when I moved back to Adelaide to be closer to my dad after he had a heart attack, I left jobs that I loved and I thrived at them. Plural, because I worked corporate by day and the event scene by night and weekends. And it was in a place, Melbourne, that I perfectly suited my lifestyle at the time. There was so much significant growth and opportunities in my reach that when I moved back, it seemed like all of those opportunities were just no longer available to me. I applied for similar jobs, in a similar workforce, but they were just nowhere near as good. And I just kept making excuses about all of them. This went on for probably like 6 to 9 months, to be honest. And my friends were starting to call me a lady of leisure. Till soon enough, I decided, okay, I'm not going to try to find the impossible. I'm not going to find a lifestyle or a job like my old one. So what else do I enjoy? What else am I good at? And thankfully, that led me to a whole new career in health and fitness and all the other alternative health and healing practices that I've been passionate about ever since. So first, let's look and talk about recognizing the signs that it might be time to quit. Often we stick to something because of the time and energy and resources we've already invested. This is known as the sunk cost fallacy, and it can trap us into unproductive situations. I'd been climbing the corporate ladder and event scene ladder for 5 years. I felt like I needed to continue to capitalize on my knowledge and experience in those areas. And ironically, training and events isn't dissimilar to what I'm doing today. So what are the common signs and implications of when it's time to quit? You are just chronically stressed all the time. If a project or an endeavor constantly causes you high levels of stress, anxiety, or even depression, it might be time to reconsider. Chronic stress can lead to serious health problems in the long run. Lack of progress. Despite your hard work and your effort, there just seems to be little or no progress. This is when it's time to evaluate if your efforts are leading to meaningful outcomes or if you're simply just spinning your wheels. You've just lost the passion. Passion is a key motivator. If you've lost the enthusiasm and the excitement you once had, it might be a sign that it's time to move on. Relationships, work, home life. If you've lost the drive, the love, and that joy that you once felt, it's time to have the hard conversation, or at least a hard look at whether it's what your heart wants or needs anymore. Is it having detrimental effects on your health? If your physical or mental health is suffering, it's a clear indicator that something needs to change. If you're unhappy with how you look, feel, and how you spend your time, some clarity on what's truly important and changes to help you regain control are likely necessary. If you wake up every day dreading the task or situation you're in, this could be a sign. Now let's evaluate whether you've given it your all. Truly given it your all. This is crucial. Ask yourself, have you put in consistent effort over an extended period? Have you sought advice from mentors or experts? Have you tried different strategies to solve the problem? If the answer to these questions is yes, it might be time to reassess. If the answer is no, then it's time to reassess yourself, regroup, and revise the game plan. Have you put in consistent effort? Consistency is always key in any venture. Assess whether you have been consistently putting in the effort or if there have been prolonged periods of neglect and procrastination. Refer to episode 64 for more on procrastination. Are you or have you been seeking advice? Sometimes an outside perspective can provide valuable insights. Have you consulted with mentors, industry experts, or even peers for advice and feedback? Too often we try to go things alone. I've been guilty of this. Why do we find it so hard to ask for help? But the truth is, the most successful people in the world, the leading superheroes, they have a team, teammates, resources, coaches, mentors to whom they go to seek advice from. So why shouldn't you? Have you tried different strategies? Sticking to one approach without success is a common mistake. Diets are a good example of this. Diets usually die eventually. If something isn't working, why isn't it working? What and whom do you need to assist you in making further progress? Have you been flexible, open-minded, and have you tried different strategies or solutions to overcome the challenges you're facing? Here are some quick tips to help you discern whether you should stop spinning your wheels on something that's just not going to happen, especially if you stand still and change nothing. 1. Reevaluate your goals. Check if your current goals and where you see yourself in a year or in the coming years still aligns with your long-term ambitions and values. Goals can evolve, as do you. And what was once important might no longer matter to you as much anymore. Usually, material or status goals will diminish when you realign with your values. 2. Seek feedback. Find and ask trusted individuals for their honest opinion. Sometimes we're just too close to a situation to see it clearly for what it really is. And 3. Do a financial assessment. Calculate the financial impact. Is this venture draining more resources than it's worth? Consider whether the financial strain is sustainable and worth pursuing further. 4. Your energy levels. One of our most important currencies up there with time. How's your energy right now? Each morning, each day, each evening. Is it getting worse as the weeks go by? Monitor your energy. Are you constantly feeling depleted? Your energy levels can tell you a lot about whether you're on the right path. When something's right, you rarely need to find the energy or the encouragement to do it. 5. Alternative opportunities. Evaluate what are other available opportunities to you. Can you pivot to something relative with what you've learned or accomplished so far? Just because we quit one thing doesn't mean it can't still hold relevance in a closely related venture. Are there more viable paths that you could be pursuing? More times than not, quitting and closing a door on something that no longer serves us opens the door and the windows to better options that do. 6. Do a mental health check. Assess and recognize the impact on your happiness and mental health. If the pursuit of this goal is negatively affecting your mental well-being, it's definitely worth reconsidering. Remember, quitting doesn't mean giving up. It just means making a conscious decision to allocate your valuable resources, such as time, energy, and money, elsewhere. It's about realizing that your well-being and future success are worth more than clinging to something that's simply not working. So I think we've spoken about the difference between when to stick with something and that difference of, yes, it's not working right now, but there's still this dying desire to make it work. It just feels right in your body and it feels right in your soul. And then there's time to evaluate whether it's a good time to say goodbye because it's not working and you've given it a good crack, but it just no longer serves you and it just doesn't feel right. Sometimes addressing one or more things that I've discussed with you today, like asking for help and trusted guidance, can help steer you into a new strategy or direction that invigorates you. It reignites the initial passion you once had. But if you're in a situation where you're constantly spinning your tires, take a step back and consider these factors. Your future self will thank you for making the tough but necessary decisions today. I think too often than not nowadays, people quit too soon. So really taking the time to go inwards and evaluate whether what you want is truly what you want, or has it been driven by outside factors, is important in any case, because people just quit too soon. You don't see enough progress straight away. You don't see results straight away. You've started a podcast or a YouTube channel and you don't get enough views, or you've got a social channel and no one likes your photo. Like all of these things, it's like we expect that things are going to happen quickly, and it's just not the reality. When something is important to you, it takes time. I sound like a broken record, but it's true. You need to put in the effort, and more so than not, people quit too soon. So maybe there's more. There's more to be done. And if this has helped you go inwards to help you discover that, no, I do want to continue this. I do want to make this happen. I'm so pleased. And at the same time, if this has made you think, nah, actually, it's not as important to me as I thought it was, then I'm pleased. Because either way, you won't know if you made the wrong decision because it would be right for you. So I really hope you found this episode helpful today. Thank you for tuning in, and please share it with anyone that you feel like could benefit from hearing this message. And until next time, superhuman in the making. Strengthen your mind, body, and soul muscles, and stay amazing.